Welcome back to the Stebbins Garage YouTube channel. In the last video, I worked on wiring so that we can get ready for our Holley Terminator X. In this episode, I'm working on more wiring, but it is for the Terminator X. I hope you'll stick around. It really felt like I was never going to get here, but we are here. It's time to open the Terminator. I've already opened it, but we need power harness. I believe that's what this is. And we'll be able to go ahead and get this power set up for our Holley, which I have a Terminator. This is the engine harness that we're going to need to run, and we'll go over all that later. I've already read through the instructions. I've already got the screen mounted. We'll get there. We'll set that aside for now. I just want to go ahead and go through this harness, get it laid out, and if I don't get it laid out, I'm never going to move forward. So let's get all the zip ties off of here, and I'm going to start laying it out from inside the car. Got the zip ties off of here. First thing I notice, right here, connect directly to battery terminals only. All right, no problem. I have these side post terminal bolts, and we can just put some ring terminals on here and be able to connect it. I'm not ready to power it up yet anyway. It looks pretty straightforward to get it in there and plug it in. So the worst part's going to be this extra wiring. I suppose I could just snip it off if I wanted, but what if I want to use it in another car later? We'll figure that out. That didn't take much effort. I've got the cables running out. This is just the positive and negative, basically, to go straight to the battery. I want to get these up out of the way. That way it's all hidden. You don't see any of it other than where it comes in on the side. In order to do that, I'm going to use these things. You've seen me use these before if you've been watching for a while. If not, essentially it's just a little push in with a zip tie on it. And so you drill a 1/4 inch hole and you push that in the hole, and then you can zip tie something to it and keep it out of the way. So I'm just gonna probably need to do actually 2 more holes. There's one back here already, and then so we'll do one somewhere in here and then one closer. That way we can keep this kind of tucked up, and that will get this wire up out of the way. The rest of the harness is actually gonna go back here and up into the bay, right in this area. So that's all we need to do for this, and I'm gonna leave these loose. That way we have some flexibility in pulling it tight or whatever, but I think that'll be the best option. Been working on some of the wiring for the Firebird, and I developed a new piece that's 3D printed. This is a bulkhead connector for the engine wiring. So this allows me to pass the power and all of the engine harness wires into here on the car. This is on the passenger side behind the fender. And so this part actually snaps in here. Well, it fits in there, and then you put a screw there and a screw, you know, somewhere in there to hold the piece in. That way you don't have this ugly, the factory one didn't fit very well anyway. And then, so it'll go, this will be the part you see outside, And then this is a rib, I guess I'll call it a rib, that will go over that, That'll keep those pieces from moving because they're indexed on the back side. And it will also give you somewhere to run some tape or whatever you want to seal that up. So you can put some silicone or whatever on the other side when you put this on, because really once that wiring's in there, you shouldn't have to move it. And then this is acts as a stiffener as well as somewhere for you to put your things. So let me put it on the car and I'll show you what it looks like. So we're back here on the passenger side again. This is the bulkhead where the wiring for the engine will pass through from our Terminator X. This is right here is the bundle of wires, is the power connections that go up to my battery distribution. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take one piece of this and we're going to put it here, and then the battery cables will go in that little loom there. Then we'll start that screw there, and then I'm going to just run it in a little bit, and then I can put my other piece in, which is essentially a mirror of the other one. So they're the same. You can't really put it in upside down. All right, and then that is there, and so that'll go just like that. We need to drill a hole here to be able to put our other screw in, but that will hold this, and then I can wrap whatever tape or whatever I want around that. That will allow us to prevent anything from getting in there. I think it's a pretty cool design. It's fairly simple. It's not too bad for me to print. I'm going to start selling these, probably be up on my Etsy store by the time you see this video. Let me know what you think about that. I think it's a really cool design, and I think it'll be really handy for me, and I think it looks pretty nice too. So look for those pretty shortly. I just finished up the install. I think that looks fantastic. That will pretty much allow me to pass the wires that I need to pass through here. And it's nice and solid. It's not going anywhere. I think it's great. So that's what we're going with on mine. If you want one, check out my Etsy store, stebbinsgarage.etsy.com. Just put in my favorite, a riv nut. So I've got that in place now. That's our fuel pump relay. And the plan is to use that hole right there and then drill another one and put 2 more riv nuts in. That will allow us to mount our fan relay. And then that'll all be tucked in the corner along with our mega fuse. That way you don't see any of it. We've got easy access to the distribution block, even from inside with the battery out. There's what that riv nut looks like once I put it in, and then the screws in there. Those are a 1/2 inch screw that I'm using. So I think that's fantastic. We'll go ahead and drill these holes. We got to drill them out just a little bit, that one, and put a riv nut in, and then we'll drill the other one, and then we can put our wiring for the fan and get that wired up. All right, our fan wiring's in, our fuel pump relay's in. That's all gonna tuck in the corner like I said. The wiring and all that, I gotta move it all around, but really happy with that because it's all out of the way. I need to go ahead and pull this back off one last time. I need to put a washer on the screw here and Loctite that. I did Loctite the other two for the bracket. The nice thing about this is you can actually put a screwdriver in there and pop this off the bracket so it's easy to service. Still working on this wiring. Got the fuel pump circuit breaker installed and I'm going to shorten this wire. I mean, I could just go like that, but I think that's a little, I mean, it won't take a few seconds to go ahead and trim this, and we'll trim it back to about there. And then once the fender liner's in, that'll definitely be protected. So that's what we're gonna do now. Got most of the wiring kind of fished in place, not obviously completely where it needs to go, but you get the idea. I still need to tidy up some of this stuff once I have everything in its final place. Went ahead and ran the ground there. That's our circuit breaker. This is the ground wire. Relays in here. I'm gonna go ahead and put the fan wiring in, which is laying over here, and start running that. We got a couple trigger wires that need to go inside and then one that goes to the battery. And from there, I can go ahead and start tidying this stuff up. Been working on this for a little bit. The wiring is all in. So there's our fan relay, there's our fuel pump relay. I've tidied up a lot of the wiring and shortened some stuff. So I just need to go in and terminate all the wires on here, tidy this bundle up. I'm not going to tighten all this up yet because I need to get the rest of the wiring kind of in place, but it's all there. This is the wires to the fans. I'm going to run those kind of around the front and tuck them in here so that they pop out by the radiator so we don't have a big bundle of wires. My goal is to just have minimal wiring in the engine bay, and so far it's all really nice and tidy. Well, that certainly was a lot of wiring. I'm having a good time. I'm learning a lot, and we're close to firing this thing up. So in the next video, I'm going to continue working on some miscellaneous things that we need in order to fire the engine for the first time. I hope you'll come back. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.